for the second day in a row leading up to the big launch event for the next cohort of my online Side Hustle Academy. And we've got some interviews coming up on Thursday and Friday with a couple of alumni from the Online Side Hustle Academy who have gone out and built businesses, a couple who had businesses and built features on top of their businesses. But I wanted to come on today to talk about some reluctant things that I hear from people when they decide to start their side hustles, or they're thinking about starting a side hustle, or they have an idea to start a side hustle or a business or a startup. And I wanted to begin with 5 of the most dangerous words that I come across when people talk to me about their side hustles. And those dangerous words apply to more than just a side hustle or a business or a startup. They apply to a lot of life. And those words are, what will other people think? And this matters because other people don't matter. And we give other people's opinions too much weight when we're thinking about starting something, when we're thinking about starting a diet, starting a new habit, starting exercise, starting anything, including a business or a side hustle. We worry too much about other people's opinions. And the problem with this is really simple. What we should be asking ourselves is, what if I don't try? 5 words that I think matter more than what other people think. Ask yourself, what happens if you don't try to start a side hustle? Ask yourself, what happens if you don't take your idea out of your brain and put it out into the world? This is called the cost of inaction. If everything that you're doing stays the same, nothing changes, you don't get an extra income stream, you don't start that side hustle, you don't get your business idea out of your brain and into the world, what does your life look like in 5 years or 10 years? Does it look the same as it does today? That is what happens if you don't try. It's more important than what happens if you do try and what other people will think. A little trick that I learned at one of my previous businesses that started out as a side hustle, my sock company, was people would often ask me, I can't wear these bright colored socks. What will people think? And I used to say to them, the thing about fashion is really simple. You should never worry about what people think about what you're wearing, because they're so concerned about what they are wearing that they don't even see what you're wearing. And the same thing applies to life. Don't worry about what other people think, because more often than not, they're so egocentric and selfish that they're worried about they're not worried about what you're doing. They're worried about what they are doing, what they are thinking, what they look like, what they're building. And they're worried about how you fit into their world. So forget about what other people think. It's not relevant. What matters is what you're doing, what you think, how you feel. And if you feel like crap, then that's the problem you should be talking about, not what other people think and what other people are concerned with. So forget about those 5 words. What will other people think? And focus on these 5 words. What if I don't try? The cost of inaction. Then I want to talk about another point that I get all the time. This is one of the major things that the Online Side Hustle Academy launch event will talk to. One of the major things that I try and teach people is the question, or the problem that they present to me is, Nick, I don't have enough time to start a side hustle. And on that point, I call bullshit. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. We just choose to prioritize them differently. So you don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem. If that hits you in the chest and it hits you in the back of the head, it's because it should. You do not have a time problem. You have a priority problem. When you finish work at the end of your day, what do you do? Do you take a 30-minute break and then watch more TV? Do you get takeaways instead of making a healthy dinner? Do you sit in front of the TV and do nothing instead of exercise? Do you see friends and family and get plastered that night and then wake up tired the next morning? You don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem. So if a side hustle is one of your priorities, then carve out time for it every day, 30 minutes a day. If it is something that you are serious about, you will find the time. The next question that I get all the time is, Nick, I don't have enough money to start a side hustle. Well, there's a couple of things here that are important to remember. You only feel financial pressure when you have a tight deadline to achieve that money that you need. So if you need to make $10,000 next week, the chances are everything feels urgent and pressurized, and you need money to invest in this business to roll into $10,000. What you need to do with a side hustle is look at the time scale a little bit differently. If you only need to turn a profit from your side hustle in 2 years, then you can put in $100 every 2 months and slowly turn that 100 into 200 and 200 into 400 and 400 into 800. If you need to make that $100 10,000 next week, then you are under pressure. So don't worry about the capital investment if your timeline is longer to make a profit. If you do have money to put in, then great. Put the money in, allocate that capital, use it wisely, and turn your $5,000 investment into $12,000. Great. But if you have no money to invest, you can still also start a side hustle. You have skills that you can leverage. You can use those skills to either make money to invest in your side hustle or to barter those skills for something. You also have skills that you can use that aren't capital to build your side hustle. If you're really good at marketing, use those skills to sell a product. If you're really good at sales, use those skills. If you're a good writer, use those skills. There is always something that you can invest in your time, money, effort, life to build a side hustle, even if it takes you a bit longer. But remember, the variable of time is the thing that makes most people rush and get all frustrated and upset. So if you can and you can afford to, extend your timeline. Instead of trying to turn a profit by the end of 2021, why not try and turn a profit by the end of 2022? Then you can build a sustainable side hustle and fit it into your life, because it's super important that you do allocate sufficient time, that this is a sustainable business. If you try and do 7 hours a day on top of your full-time job, when will you sleep? And if you don't sleep and you don't exercise and you don't have time to cook yourself a good dinner, how will you sustain this lifestyle? Because the kind of businesses that I'm helping people build are sustainable side hustles that add to their existing income streams. We're not trying to burn you out. We're not trying to make you chronically fatigued. We're trying to fit your side hustle into your existing income streams so that it's sustainable and additive to your life. Another one of my favorite points that I get told all the time is, Nick, I can't start a business until I have a business plan. That is completely fundamentally not true. You have a business when you've made a sale. People don't invest in business plans anymore. They invest in active businesses that are making sales, that have customers, that are moving towards profitability. So if you want to raise money, if you want to start anything, you need to make a sale. That's more important than a business plan. Business plans are roadblocks, and roadblocks prevent you from doing the things that side hustlers, startup founders, and business people do, which is sell a product or a service to a person. So stop making excuses. Stop delaying the inevitable. Stop worrying about a business plan. Your business plan needs to answer 3 really simple questions if you insist on writing one. What are you selling? Who are you selling to? And where do you find them? Write answers to those 3 questions, and that is your business plan. Stick to it as viciously as you can and reassess it when you've got answers to those questions that have been verified. What are you selling? Who are you selling to? How do you sell to them? That's what you need for a business plan. And then finally, the very last thing that people tell me all the time is, Nick, I don't know if my idea is good enough. Or conversely, Nick, my idea is too good to like put it out into the world. I'm scared someone's going to steal it. Well, if your idea isn't good enough and you do put it out into the world, you're going to learn very quickly, and then you don't have to waste any time dealing with it anymore. If your idea is too good that you're worried about putting it in the world, then you're doing yourself and the world a disservice. And the only way to exploit the value of this idea is to shut up and build it. Get it out into the world. Take action. Having an idea is useless unless you take action. Businesses are not built on ideas. They're built on taking those ideas and executing them. So stop protecting your idea. The only way to build anything of meaning is to put your ideas out into the world and start building them into something real and tangible. Like I've said already today, you need to sell, you need customers, you need a target audience, you need to go out and do those things. Until you do them, you don't have a side hustle, you have an idea. And then the scariest ending to this is, well, if I put my idea out into the world, it might fail. Yeah, it might. And that is amazing, because failure is only a bad thing when it's the end of something. And failures aren't the end of anything. Failures are ways for you to learn. They're ways for you to gather information and iterate and build on the idea. Failure is not an end point, it's a through point. It's something you need to aspire towards so that you can gather information and then you can iterate and build. The more ideas you put out into the world, the more you learn about the ideas that you put out into the world. The more you learn, the more you can build and iterate. And this is a very tangible method of building side hustles. This is exactly what we go through in the Online Side Hustle Academy. At the end of this live, I'm going to be posting the links below. So please, if you are interested, join me. The free live launch events are happening on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of August. That is this weekend. There are limited seats, and we already have 4,000 people signed up to attend, and I want you to be one of them. I want to help you build your side hustle. So click on the link below. You can see it right over here. There it is, academy.slowhustle.org/start-today. Go and register, pick one of your dates, and come and join me for the free launch of my new cohort of Online Side Hustle Academy students. I can't wait to see what you put out into the world, but remember, it is up to you to do the work. But through the Online Side Hustle Academy, I'm doing the work with you. So let's go.